say that it's not just an honor, but it's a big joy to be here among such distinguished experts in the field of intangible cultural heritage. So my presentation, actually, let me share my screen. Can you see it?
Yeah, it's visible.
Great. So let me put it in slideshow format. Okay. So actually, my presentation is a case study how international assistance in safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage can be utilized in order to assist different communities and different target groups in a certain country. So this is Kyrgyzstan's experience, and I believe that it would be an interesting case to understand how exactly inventorying process might be organized and how this inventorying as a part of this big project can help different communities to understand their own role in safeguarding of ICH. So in 2018, Research and Cultural Center IGINE, it's a quite prominent UNESCO accredited organization working in the field of cultural heritage, started the inventory of sacred sites and worship rituals. And it's a huge topic actually in the country, what should be considered as a sacred site, and there are different debates and polemics about what can be counted as a sacred site or not. But according to traditional culture, there are a lot of rituals and a lot of places which are believed to be sacred for different reasons. And they actually includes natural objects like lakes, rivers, mountains, spring sources, as well as some certain monuments dedicated or erected for in the name of different heroic figures. So the key idea for this inventory was to document the sacred sites and then to ensure safeguarding of rare ritual practices. Because I need to note here that unfortunately a lot of rituals are fading away now, and along with a huge layer of experience, cultural experience, cultural, let's say, spirit is also in loss. Yeah, and so in this sense, the idea behind this documentation was not just inventorying itself, but it was also addressing different threats for these worship places, for rituals which conducted by different ethnic groups, and at the same time to address issues related to the digital technologies, the processes of variety types of radicalization, including religious issues. So it had quite a lot of angles, let's say, to be considered before this inventory started. And in the end of the first stage, actually, more than you see 1,200 sacred sites were documented. And actually, it was created a kind of sacred geography of the country, which showed that the sacred sites are not just places for worship for a certain ethnic group, but these are places which are visited by different ethnicities, very diverse groups in terms of age, gender, identities, background, educational or professional or whatever. And these sites are not just for worship, but also have a function of peacekeeping, peace building, let's say tolerance, ethnic values, and so. 36 rituals were also documented, reflecting this intangible cultural heritage and how this spiritual experience is transmitted from one generation to another one. And a lot of beliefs, legends, stories, tales, and ideas which reflect the historical experience of different ethnic groups are also associated with these ritual practices. And as one of the outcomes, apart from this mapping of sacred sites and documenting the rituals and sites themselves, we developed a national manual, and this was a very interesting, actually, document, and I was honored to be an author alongside with the director of Aygine Center, Gulnara Aytbayeva. I believe many of you are familiar with her and know her personally. So we developed this national manual. And now this manual is used for different courses related to intangible cultural heritage or cultural heritage in general at different educational institutions. And they were also considered by local authorities because in the content we provided different recommendations for media outlets, for local governments, for civil society institutions, for individuals who are concerned about safeguarding these sites and practices. So it was a very interesting experience because in order to develop this manual, actually we consulted with different target groups and communities and safeguarding and sacred sites guards and so. So this is not just, let's say, application of top-down approach, but this is a truly bottom-up approach in order to understand how communities themselves contribute to safeguarding their ICH. And this manual also reflects the intergenerational dialogue as well, because there were a lot of youth groups engaged to this project who, through discussions and debates, reflected their own understanding how they consider ICH in general and specifically the practices of worship, rituals, and sacred sites. Now, at this moment, thanks to this international assistance provided by UNESCO, we have the second stage of documenting intangible cultural heritage in Kyrgyzstan, and it is also it's now in the process, and I just would like to highlight a few things which I believe very interesting in terms of how exactly inventory might become a big and very effective instrument to engage different communities into the process of documentation. The project now is called Digital Journey to ICH of Kyrgyzstan, and actually this is about creating databases of ICH. But one of the common problems for Central Asian regions that in many national lists of ICH, unfortunately, only ICH of so-called titular nations is reflected. But here we see an attempt and a very good actually intention to include ICH of ethnic minorities to the national list. And I think it's a very huge step into integration of different communities into building safeguarding practices and feel that their ICH is also valued, acknowledged, respected, and documented in a proper way according to the international standards. So here we have the National Register now, and we have two ethnic groups which ICH is included now into this inventory. This is Dungan ethnic heritage and Uyghur traditions. And what is really prominent about this inventory is that it is going according to all the standards which are stipulated in the convention in a way how this inventory should be organized. I mean, with very active and very effective engagement of communities, because researchers are from the communities themselves, and they now are very much aware of what the Convention 2003 speaks about, and what is inventory, and what is the meaning of documentation, and so. What we have now, I would say that now we have more than about 3,000 elements of ICH, which are already digitalized, and is going to be a very huge databases. And apart from this just enumeration, let's say, of elements, in the end, we believe that each element, the user could click on it and receive the full information provided with documentaries, description, photographs, stories, and so. So it's quite a huge database which can serve not just a national register, but it can serve also as an educational platform for those who are concerned about ICH safeguarding. So in general, I would say that this international assistance helps actually to of course, it's first of all about funding, because any research related to inventory is a quite expensive experience and expensive exercise, But what we have in the end, thanks to this project and this international assistance, first of all, the local researchers and community members, they have received, they first of all enhanced their skills of documenting. And moreover, they received a very solid knowledge on documentation in general and practices of research as well, because it's not just about fixing, what different ICH elements means, but it includes a lot of techniques, how to communicate, how to conduct interviews, how to provide certain information in a very intelligent and at the same time comprehensive way. Plus, what is really great that this project allows actually to engage also policymakers, because in the national list of ICH is under the Ministry of Culture. So, of course, policymakers are also actively engaged into this project, and the understanding of necessity to include different ethnic groups as well into the process of inventorying is now more and more, let's say, increasing, and this is one of the achievements of this project. So what we have in terms of sustainability of ICH safeguarding through collaboration, first of all, we have engagement of different international bodies. We have local organizations which implement different safeguarding and preservation initiatives on the ground. We have communities which now very actively share their knowledge and experience, because in former times, for example, many members of different communities were a bit reluctant, towards documenting their ICH, considering it as a kind of risk for them, and so. Plus, national institutions and individual researchers who are actually contribute quite a lot to this project. What kind of challenges and future directions I could point out here is, first of all, of course, it's creating sustainable digital archives. And this, I believe, is a very huge step to make ICH elements or information about ICH elements available for the wider audience. And and first of all, for educational institutions. Plus, of course, what we need to consider is addressing different climate change issues, considering sacred sites, for example, because these are, first of all, natural sites, and it's very important to consider all these climate issues which different communities have to face on their daily basis, and those who are practicing rituals and so, they also have to be ready to different changes happened due to climate change. And plus, of course, the huge step which is still has to be made is awareness raising campaign, because I think it's a common problem for not only for Kyrgyzstan, but in general for Central Asian countries, that the wider population is not that much aware of the convention, the safeguarding practices, and for many of them it's just their routine. For some of them it's not that something which is considered as meaningful issues, let's say, for their daily life. For some of them it's just a lack of understanding why it is important, for the generations which are now living in digital era. And so, of course, awareness raising is still at stake, and there are a lot of things which we have to consider for our further activities. So that's it from my side. If there are any questions, I will be happy to respond. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Kozhabekova. Indeed, first of all, if you allow me, I would like to point out of some very important maybe aspects you just highlighted in your presentation. First of all, it is all international assistance should be based on the bottom-up approach. As you rightly mentioned, that all your guidelines being designed not from the top, not from those who are coming for assistance, but from the bottom-up approach. And secondly, I would like to mention that your presentation, which very much related with some thematic studies which currently doing by UNESCO, the thematic studies on climate change. Maybe some participants have there is some questions. The floor is open for the webinar, because we know that Ms. Kozhabekova should leave now she's on traveling, she's on mobile. Therefore, if some questions, I will be appreciate very much if participants will be raise their hands and the question will be done. Unless anybody know any questions, then maybe may I ask the questions just to initiate this discussion on international assistance. You mentioned that you are carrying out digitalization of this project.
Yeah.
To what extent is local communities accepting digitalization of the issue, which is relatively sacred sites with some secret rituals, because sometimes communities not so much in favor. How to get this consent with local communities to be digitalized, this information? Please, could you kindly briefly reply to this issue on digitalization?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It's a really interesting question, considering sacred sites and the way how communities understand them. Yeah, of course, there are a lot of rituals which, for example, communities do not want to, let's say, open up. Yeah, what exactly is they about? Yeah, and how they should be organized. And very often, the access to these rituals are not open to everyone. Yeah. And at the stage of inventorying, all these things were very deeply negotiated with the communities. And some of the rituals we had to exclude, from this wider access, because due to the request coming from the communities, that they don't want it to be mentioned somewhere, because it's something too intimate, something too spiritual, and it's not for wider audience, but only for those who practice them themselves. Yeah. So of course, considering the respect to the communities and their understanding, we have all the notes and recordings, but I cannot say that we have a right to open access to everyone to them. Yeah. So this is again about communities and their right how to safeguard the elements. Yeah. In terms of digitalization, a lot of what is really good, at least in Kyrgyzstan, that internet connection and provision of all these communications, digital technologies are rapidly evolving now, and a lot of people have access to all these technological mechanisms of communication and interaction. So we believe that the databases will be open for everyone who would like to get access to it, or without some specific, let's say, procedures to follow. But what is really great, what is really great about these databases, it's very friendly for users. And it's done in a quite modern and stylish way, I would say. And this was also one of the intentions of the implementers, that it should be not just something like a database, but something which can serve as a platform of communication. So for people, it should be a source of information, which is not just providing this information, but also engaging them, making them think of the meaning, and making them feel that even the design is attractive and modern. And so I believe that this is also one of the ways of popularization because when we think of databases, sometimes it's something very boring, but it's very important to make it as much as engaging as possible. So I hope that in the end, we would have a quite interesting knowledge product as well, and not just inventory, but a real knowledge product. I hope I answered your question. Sorry if I took too much time for my reflection.
Thank you very much indeed. I mean, you describe it very well, and particularly about the concern of local communities. The reason I ask it because when we talk about the safeguarding of ICH, for example, particularly these issues on the sacred sites, sometimes the conflict starts when it's a conflict between popularization or maybe developing of tourism sites. As a sacred sites becomes a destiny for tourism, and then some, for example, like I don't know, religious rituals become something like more touristic destiny rather than keeps its original identity, because sometimes local, as you rightly mentioned, sacred local communities sometimes not providing free access for everybody for these events or for these social practices. By the way, on your screen, you presented your guidelines poster. It was guidelines been published in Russian language. Did you also publish in Kyrgyz language?
Yes, it is in two languages. Yeah, it's in Kyrgyz and it's in Russian. And I should say that the manual was developed like a storytelling coming from two people who were visiting those sacred sites. And it is given through their perception and their reflection. And actually, I created a sort of story of the people based on different experiences. And this is also one of the ways how you can make manual something really interesting for different audiences, including school kids. It's not a very boring handbook or textbook where you could see some policies or whatever, but it's really done in a genre of storytelling, including different fiction elements, but they are all based on true stories of people and those who practiced worship.
Yeah. Thank you. Distinguished members of our webinar, first of all, I would like to inform you that our meeting is now streaming through the YouTube, according to the last information of our secretariat. So not only those who are attending this webinar, but even you could be distribute this information because it's already streaming on the YouTube. And I have already one request for question from distinguished our director of our institution, Mr. Evren Rudbil. He would like to ask question. Mr. Rudbil, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you. Ms. Kojabekova, Professor Kojabekova, thank you very much for your presentation. It's a very interesting project, very interesting study, and I appreciate your efforts, especially about inclusiveness, which makes this project very original and maybe unique in Central Asia. My questions about accessibility, you already told about the records of these traditions, but I would like to ask about your findings. Did you share it with the international community? If yes, with which parties, and is it accessible online? I mean, the results, the findings. Can we read these results? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, since this project was in two stages, the first stage, the first inventory, which includes all the documentation of all the sacred sites and rituals, we've produced different textbooks with a full description of these places and rituals, as well as 15 documentary films. So they're all in open access. So, for example, if you'd like to get some materials, anyone can just send an email to CRC IGINE directly, and they could provide the link and everything. Plus, on the website, you could see all the publications and documentary films produced. Yeah, so they are all in open access. So there are no any restrictions for anyone. About the second stage, since it is still ongoing, and we've already designed the databases and collected all the materials, there are also going to be a few publications based on that, because it's a quite new things, I mean, including these minority groups. I also didn't mention why these two groups were actually selected. In Kyrgyzstan, we have more than 70 ethnic groups. Why these two? Because these ethnicities do not have their own independent state. I mean, people live on the territory of Kyrgyzstan, but these ethnic groups do not have their statehood. So, or nationhood. So it's very important actually to for Kyrgyzstan also to show that the government or the state takes care of all those who are citizens of the country. So these materials are going to be also in open access. And about the national register, of course, these things also will be negotiated with the Ministry of Culture. But at least at this stage, the organizers keep the intention to make these databases open access to everyone, because first of all, it should be the place for educational purposes and capacity building purposes as well.
Thank you very much. Yes,
I
yes.
hope
You
it
would
was
like to add something?
sufficient answers. Sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry,
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. What I said, because after your presentation, may we put in our website link to your website in order to disseminate information about your studies?
Yeah, sure. I will provide
because
the website.
There is no intellectual property problems, right, for us to be disseminated.
I will share the website of CRCI Guinea, and I think it's a very good resource, because the organization has been working in this field about 20 years already, and they are fully dedicated to intangible cultural heritage and traditional knowledge in connection with the modern life. So I believe everyone can get a lot of information there through books, video materials, workshop materials, documentaries, and so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I am afraid I have taken too much time, for my.
No. We're just worrying that you will be, you have to catch your flight. Therefore, I mean, on behalf of all participants, we would like to express our thanks for your contribution, and wishing you bon voyage, the safe flight, safe return to home. And if you allow me, ladies and gentlemen, according to our program, we will be moved to the second speaker of our session.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kozhabekova. Thank you very much. So may I request our secretariat briefly introduce our second speaker, please?
Absolutely. So moving on to our second speaker, we have Mr. Eivind Falk, who's the director of the Norwegian Crafts Institute. He is also a UNESCO expert in intangible cultural heritage. He's the editor of #HeritageAlive, and he's a renowned advocate for traditional crafts through publications, teaching, and global workshops. We welcome you, Mr. Falk.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Falk, your floors.
That was a very nice introduction. Can I have my presentation, please? It's on screen.
Yes, just a minute.
Merci beaucoup. It's coming.
Ms. Ninu, are you sharing the PPT?
I'm sharing on behalf of.
Okay, sure.
Okay, here we are. Thank you. You can have the next slide, please. Thanks a lot for the invitation. It's a great pleasure to be here and to be together with you. And I really appreciate this wonderful initiative. And it's great to be a part of this initiative, the Cultural Masters. I think it's a great thing. I would like to highlight some. If I can have the next slide, please. Yeah, I will talk about some of the core principles in the 2003 convention in an international context. So next slide, please. Yeah, it's a principle that I would like to rub in from the start in my presentation. It's that ICH has no borders. It's always in people. It's in you and me as humans. We are carrying the ICH with us. It could be like oral tradition or traditional food. It could be traditional crafts. It's something that we bring with us as human. It's what we call, ICH is in many ways what is called embodied knowledge. It's something that we have with us, bring with us as humans. And as the anthropologist says, we have boots, we don't have roots. We are not trees or plants, and we are not like buildings or monuments, which is situated one particular place. It's something, we are humans, and we are carrying the living traditions with us. And this is really important because it has always been like this. So we have shared over the borders, even if they are there. We have been traveling around, and we have been meeting other people, and this is why we will find tradition and traces of the same traditions all over the world, which is a wonderful thing. And this is how ICH actually connects us as humans. And this is no, back please. I'm not finished. I haven't really finished. Yes, this is in contradiction to the 72 convention, the World Heritage Convention, which is there is always a site, there is always a place, there is always a country, because a church or a monument, or a castle, it's always, that is inscribed on this list, is always some particular place. But so this means that the safeguarding measures are different for the 72 convention and for the 2003 convention, because it's a you cannot actually, like, if you have an object, you can put it in the freezer, or you can put it in a magazine or in a basement. But for safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage, which is in people, it's different safeguarding measures, because you cannot put the bear of the tradition in a freezer, in the fridge. It won't help you for safeguarding it. You need some other kind of safeguarding measures. So next slide, please. Yeah, I think this, if you look at this wonderful pictures here, on the top you have you see this rose, traditional rose. In the first picture is from a bag made by indigenous people in Paraguay, and you can see this particular rose. The same rose you will find. This is on the bottom there. It's my own gloves, the one I use daily. It's traditional Norwegian gloves, and it's the same. It's the same rose. It's exactly the same. And then you go to the next one, to the right, which is from this Palestinian embroidery, and it's still exactly the same rose, the same pattern, which you will find all over the world. I've seen it in Laos. I've seen it also in other countries all over the world, and it's a very good example of how intangible cultural heritage is not something that we have been discovering under a rock in the woods. It's something that we have been sharing, and it has been developed, and it's a result of dialogue between people, because we have boots, we don't have roots. We have been traveling around, and we have been sharing our living traditions. So ICH connect people through crafts, through rituals, symbols, food, and music. And it creates dialogue, and it connects generation. And this is a wonderful point, how, like, when my daughter learned how to knit, the traditional knitting, the traditional craft, she was working together with my mother, and together granddaughter and grandmother were working together, and this was passed on from one generation to the next, to a new generation. And it's not only she didn't only pass on the knitting, but it was also every Thursday when they met to do this knitting thing. She also, of course, learned a lot of other things that was passed on, because it's more complex than just knitting. It's you have to see ICH in a little broader scope, and it's also example of how ICH stimulates creativity. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, this is I think this is also a very crucial point. It's in crisis, and for example, now it's unfortunately it's a challenge in the world with armed conflicts, and there's a lot of people who are suffering. There is a lot of refugees who cannot stay in their own country, but they have to go somewhere else. And these examples, these pictures are from Ukraine. And it's examples of how they bring their living traditions with them. When the refugees, we have a lot of Ukrainian refugees after the Russian invasion, that people who had to leave, that had to leave Ukraine, and we have a lot of them in Norway now, for example, and in other European countries, and they eat their borscht, they paint the eggs, and they do their embroidery tradition. And this is something that, I mean, you can take away from people. You can take their house, you can take their farm, you can take their car and their boat, but you cannot take away your intangible cultural heritage, because it's always in us as humans. So this is in a difficult situation. We see that the ICH is more important than ever. And I had this meeting with refugees from Ukraine, and people. We also have an organization in Ukraine who works with ICH, and they told me that now the intangible cultural heritage activities or practices are more popular than ever. When the soldiers come back from the front, when they have been fighting, the first thing they do is that they learn how to they are going to a course how to paint eggs in a traditional way. They have been like 2 months by the front fighting, and they come back and they play they do the eggs, and so it shows how and they paint the eggs. This is the same in Palestine. I was assisting Palestine with writing some of their files for inscription, and the Palestinian embroidery is very interesting because it's something that they they cannot live in their own country because there has been an occupation and they had to escape, but they live like in camps, for example, in Ramallah or in Jordan, other places where they can take their practice with you and with them, and it's more important than ever. So I think the ICH in difficult situations is really important for people, because you can sort of carry with your identity. There is dialogue, and there's also the next slide with I will show you some examples with the peace building. Yeah, I also think very strongly that because of like ICH is also peace building, but because it's always there's so much dialogue in the practices, and there are so many great examples how international cooperation and exchange of cultural practices in the field of ICH can be peace building, and because it creates a mutual understanding and respect. So, and this is also some of the basic values, as Alisher Ikramov mentioned in his introduction that UNESCO is like some of the core values of UNESCO, with how it supports diversity, it supports respect, and it supports dialogue. So ICH helps us to connect us across the borders. And as you can see from the picture on the right, with these two kids doing the wrestling, the traditional Korean wrestling, which I think is a wonderful example. And some of you might remember when there was an inscription of the, and please excuse my very lousy Korean pronunciation of the Serum wrestling tradition, and it was a joint nomination from the both of the Korean states, which was a wonderful step where states which traditionally had some challenges with their communication could actually come together in with a nomination, a multinational file, where they could come together because they shared an element of ICH, which was very important in both of the states. So I think this is a wonderful example. It's a very good example of how ICH can be a tool for dialogue and eventually for peace building. So with these words, I would like to thank you for your attention. And if you have some question, I will be happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ivan Falk. I mean, indeed, very inspiring. And particularly, your presentation remind me one of the interesting statistic observation. Particularly, there was photo in your presentation. This photo been taken in Norway, I understood, right? Which we show the kids doing something. The reason why I'm thinking it's Norway, in 2000, UNESCO published the big book, UNESCO Statistics, about different interesting facts on culture. And I remember one of the table was related with the broadly spoken languages in the countries. And in Norway, number 4 broadly spoken language, it's in Vietnamese. So it was very interesting. So it's a Nordic country where the real provided spaces for the preservation of the cultural practices of the population, migrants population from Vietnam. And it was the Vietnamese language number 4 after the Norwegian, Danish, and Swedish. So number 4 was Vietnamese language. It is really it was in 2000, this publication. And it's really, I appreciate very much that in your presentation, you outlined it, that international cooperation for 2003 convention in the form of exchange brings us to the peace building activities. I think it is very crucial now. So your last slide, whereas you pointed out that one of the maybe impact of convention could be the impact is the contribution for the peace building, not only within one country, but within region, etc. So ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open. Any questions or comments for our distinguished speaker? So I see none, but Mr. Falk, you will be with us. I think maybe during our deliberations and question time, we'll be very much count on your presence, because I know that you had great experience, not only in the field of crafts, but broadly on the ICH.
Correct. I also appreciate, I congratulate Ivan Falk for this kind of topic you described beautifully. Actually, we have to go beyond the previous definitions. We have to go like this for peacekeeping also, how ICH helps for peacekeeping and humanity. Yeah, it's a wonderful experience you have described. So thank you very much, Mr. Falk.
Thank you, Mr. Vakil. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we're smoothly moving to the second session, which will be focused on festivals and efforts on preserving intangible heritage through organization of festivals. And we have two distinguished speakers, and Mr. Kalayan Nikolov from Bulgaria and Dr. Lee Thi Minh Le from Vietnam. So I will request our distinguished secretariat to introduce first speaker, Mr. Kaloyan Nikolov. He is with us.
I think he is not with us. So while the team is trying to
Okay.
get in touch with him, I think we can
Yeah.
move on to Dr. Lee Thi Minh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Min, you have the floor, but before you give the floor, could you kindly introduce her? I will request
Yeah.
secretary to introduce her.
Sure, sure. So let me briefly introduce Dr. Lee Thi Minh Le. She's the vice chairperson of the Vietnam Association for Cultural Heritage. She's the leading expert in cultural management, museum studies, and intangible heritage safeguarding, contributing to policy development as well as to UNESCO nominations. We welcome you, ma'am.
Can I share? Hello, can I share my presentation here?
Yes.
Yes, we are viewing your screen.
Mhm. Where is my? Where is my presentation? I already sent it to you. Please wait with me a minute. A minute.
Would you want us to share your PPT?
I try first.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. So or maybe you can share my presentation, please. Can you show my presentation, please? Kunyan?
Miss Ninu, have we received her presentation?
I already sent by email.
Yes, presentation been sent to secretariat. Maybe secretariat will assist us in the screen sharing.
Yeah, my presentation here. Yeah. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we see your screen.
Yes, we can see.
Perfect.
Yes, we can see it. We can see now. Yes.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Lee. Now I'm working for Vietnam Cultural and Heritage Association. Before that, I was the deputy director of Department of Cultural and Heritage. My major is heritage policy. Yeah. Until now, I join the process of amended the law on cultural and heritage. As you know, we have very long history for building the law on cultural heritage. 2001, the law on cultural heritage was enacted. 2005, Vietnam ratified the convention. 2003. 2006, Vietnam, the Ministry of Culture, Sport and Tourism signed a cooperation agreement on cultural heritage with the Korean Cultural Heritage Administration. After 2003 convention, we think that we have to revise our law. That's why 2009, the cultural law, heritage law was amended. And after 20 years of the law on cultural heritage implemented, last year, 2024, the law on cultural heritage comprehensive amendment. So this is a practical legal document that can continue to be updated and has brought many opportunity for safeguarding on cultural heritage. We are very happy about this with this new law. In this new law, we have one long chapter with 12 articles dedicated on intangible cultural heritage. Additionally, various other related provisions are included. Intangible cultural heritage is categorized into 6 domains. UNESCO Convention categorized into 5 domains, but we have 6 domains. Festival is one of this domain. Why we have we want to put it in one domain? Because we think that festival in Vietnam is very important. According to statistics from the Ministry of Culture, Sport and Tourism, there are over 10,000 festivals per year in 1 year. This festival related to folk culture and cultural heritage. Only in Hanoi, my inventory 9 years ago, we have around 1,200 the festival in a year, only in Hanoi. So very typical and interesting practice from community. Today, in this webinar, I would like to share with you 2 case study. I think case study of festival, but we have done a lot of work and we get some successful in this festival. Firstly, I would like to talk about one practice of tagging ritual and game. This is a multinational nomination along with the Republic of Korea, the Philippines, and Cambodia, which was inscribed in the UNESCO representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2015. It can be said that thanks to this inscription, the heritage, the practice has thrived and contributed significantly to the national cultural and social life. You can see here, it is sitting tagging ritual game at Chen Fu Temple. We have very diverse practice. The second one is this practice from Thai community. From the Hanoi community, but they use 2 bamboo stick to make a roof of tugging. The first one, city practice in Bắc Ninh province. You can see I just joined their festival 2 weeks ago. Very big people. Around 70 people in each practice. And here on the right, you can see Hương Canh Rattan Tugging Festival. This year 2024, you can see a lot of people see in the festival. Here's some two cases of tugging of war. This is Thai people in Lao Cai and Zai people in Lao Cai also. And in their practice, there is a lot of initiative on education and how to make it more meaningful for community. You see. Since 2018, we have the relationship with Korean Association of Taking Up War. You can see 2 years ago we did one small international festival in Hanoi. Very interesting that from 6 community, now we identify more community in Vietnam. It is 10 community, only 6 community on the multi-nomination, but there are 4 community could be put it in the national list, and then we will to nominate, continue to nominate to the UNESCO also. We have relationship very closely with Korean Association for Safeguarding Taking Up War, and Cambodia and Philippines also. In April, we will join the festival in Dan Xing also. I would like to say that the successful experience of Vietnamese tagging ritual and game community include identify the element values, expanding the tagging community, enhancing the role of each community, and connecting the community and relevant partner within a sustainable development network. The state have implemented more policy and better policy for protect the heritage also. And then I would like to share with you the second case study. This is the practice of worshiping the Mother Goddess of Three Realms. This is a heritage inscribed in 2016 on the representative list. Thanks to the law on cultural heritage and the convention, this heritage has been recognized for its true value, even though it was previously considered outdated and superstitious. Even the foreign researchers have regarded this practice as a living museum of Vietnam cultural heritage. This ritual practice date back to the 18th century and now increasingly developing with many unique cultural value related to belief, ritual, festival, especially in music, singing, and dancing performances. The community observes more than dozen rituals annually, with the largest festival in eighth lunar month, and the third lunar month. It is a very important festival of this practice. Our association, Vietnam Cultural Heritage, a non-government organization, we assist this community in establishing community a network between them in all the country now. I would like to share with you one story around from 2009. You can see Dr. Park in the picture. Thanks to him, we have a network with the Korean community. It is similar practice with our heritage, so they understand each other and they exchange performances some years ago and last year also. But the important that our government, our local government understand more about this practice and identify that our practice it is heritage. it is heritage also. And so we continue to research and promote them. And now you see they are on the list of representative. This is very good, the case study. This is picture from last year. They after COVID, they connect. They continue to get in touch and practice together. Maybe this year they have done they will organize in Seoul in Korea. So with very short time, I would like to share with you about some information about festival in general and about two case study a case study on the representative list. So I would like to take opportunity to thank to cultural master. We hope that with this seminar, we will go further and we will have more opportunities to cooperate with the other countries and we hope to learn from you and share the cultural diversity and talk to each other how to safeguarding intangible cultural heritage for sustainable development. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Lee. Really, I think we could point it out, maybe sum up your presentation by saying that unique experience of Vietnam that you, in order to safeguard ICH, you created new domain, not just 5 domains which identified in the convention, but you introduced new domain, the 6th domain, particularly related with festivals. Thank you very much. And now, if you allow me, we'll give the floor maybe to the next speaker. Mr. Seon Park would like to ask questions. You have the floor, please. Seon Park from Culture Master.
Oh, yes.
Raise the hand.
Yes. Actually, thank you very much, Dr. Lee. Actually, she's been very active in collaborating between ICH community between Vietnam and Korea, especially between Landong and Saenamgut, Seoul Saenamgut in Korea. So, and also as I was involved with nominating tugging ritual and games, which was inscribed in UNESCO by the participation of 4 countries. So, you know, Korea and Vietnam is very active in collaborating in preserving and promoting ICH. So I'm very honored to have you, Dr. Lee, your real coordinator and mediator it was a really, you know, the best practice promoting the dialogue between ICH communities. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Seon Park. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's move to the second speaker. I understood Mr. Kalayan Nikolov already with us, and maybe Secretariat will be briefly introduce him, please. Gunjan.
Sure. Dr. Lee, can we have you stop sharing the screen? Thank you. So just to give a brief description of Mr. Kaloyan Nikolov, he's the president of the European Association of Folklore Festivals and executive board member of UNESCO's ICH Center. He's a cultural ambassador, a documentary producer, and an expert in intangible heritage safeguarding. We welcome you, Mr. Kaloyan Nikolov.
Thank you very much. I want first to thank to Mr. Park to organize all these events. It's a global webinar and master culture. I wish success of all things that we start to evaluate. And I will start with my expose. do we have some, do you see?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay. Thank you. First of all, I want to introduce European Association of Folklore Festival. It is an organization that plays a key role in preserving and promoting intangible cultural heritage. And our mission is to preserve, develop, and pass through the generations the traditional music, dance, customs, from the essential part of cultural identity of the nations. EAF not only supports the folklore festivals, but also promotes international cooperation and cultural exchange. Let's get to some establishment issues. EAF was founded in 2007 in ancient town of Veliko Tvrnovo. From very beginning, the organization had a clear vision to create a global platform for preserving and promoting the folklore arts. Under the leadership of Kalyan Nikolov, EAF received UNESCO accreditation in 2000 for Convention 2003, and significant recognition the association contribution to the cultural heritage preservation. Today we have 678 festival members in 59 countries and continue to grow. After UNESCO accreditation in 2016, we have different activities, and participate in international efforts to safeguarding the cultural heritage. We we serve in UNESCO Convention 2003 in evaluation body in the period 2000-2003. It's a 4 years period with Professor Mila Santova. And I'm a member of executive board of Regional Center of Intangible Cultural Heritage for Southeastern Europe. And I was two mandates in electoral board in Region 2 in ICH NGO Forum. This is a NGO umbrella for all NGOs that are in conventions of 2003. Nowadays, for last year, for 2004, EAF has organized 678 festivals, bringing together performance and practices from many countries. In these festivals, we have 364 live events in over 120 cities worldwide, and 316 online events that allowing a broader reach to international audience. The festivals is not only promote the traditional arts, but also create opportunities to international cultural exchange. EAF creates a championship system of folklore that is structured system of folklore championships that includes a local, national, regionals, and international level, continental championships, and the most prestige format for the folklore ensembles around the world is the World Championship of Folklore. This system is enhance a level of performance and make folklore competitive and globally recognized. I want to share some issues of our Asian Championship, where is what is in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, for 2004, last year. The festivals organized by 13 to 18 June in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, presented by 10 countries in Asia. There are more 170 artists, and there was 120 tents, building tents for the small business from around the country, and craftsmen from Japan, India, South Korea, and so on. It was very interesting. I was there, and in the end of the festival, the administrative of Ulaanbaatar said that it's about the 500 million Mongolian Greeks overcome of economics in Ulaanbaatar. And this stimulates a local economy and promote international trade. It's one of the events is not only preserving cultural heritage, but it's very stimulates economy. Our organization is working with new technology. Of course, it's utilize modern technology to promote folklore. We connect with the many television. We have an internet television platform for broadcasting performance worldwide. Have a social media. They have publication reach over 5 million people annually. Web platform. We have the space for festival management and participation of application for cultural initiatives. Thanks to this technology, we expand the AF and reach the artists and younger generations. I was very short of all of this, and we can say that folklore is not only preserve cultural heritage, but also play a key role as the cultural economic driver. The folklore attracts stories, stimulate the local economy, create opportunities for development of handcrafts, traditional arts, and small business. These events open a new markets for traditional products, and international trade relation, generate scientific economic benefits for the local communities. And I can say that AF is not only organization, but is a movement to connect people to the culture, to traditions and arts. Every year, association is expanding its network and creates new opportunities for cultural exchange. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaloyan Nikolov. Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, we had two very bright presentations. In Vietnam case, whereas within country, the festivals, numerous festivals within one country, and Mr. Kaloyan Nikolov shared with us his experience of the European Association of Folk Festivals when the regional approach for festivals and efforts. And I think what the last slide maybe was very important, which Kalayan mentioned, that for sustainability of preservation of ICH, the economical aspect is very important. Marketing aspect of the festival is very important. And I remember it was some the project like HIPAMS, which is heritage sensitive intellectual property and marketing strategies. This is strategies. This project's been implemented in India and in Kyrgyzstan. It will be very interesting, maybe based on the experience of two presentations, to further develop the issues of HIPAMS with regard of safeguarding of ICH through vis-a-vis festivals. Ladies and gentlemen, floor is open for any deliberations or questions or comments. No comment, because we are now, actually, we are following our time frame. Am I right, distinguished members of Secretariat? So we are within line of our time. So therefore, maybe we will come back to the questions later on. Let's smoothly move to the session 3, which is maybe, from my point of view, it's one of the key sessions in our webinar. Why? Because two previous sessions been like approaching to the main idea of this webinar. If the first session been on international cooperation, the second on particular issues of festivals, now we're coming to the issue what the culture masters would offer us, because they have some idea to promote the festivals in some form of the developing of ICH safeguarding vis-a-vis urban development. So the first floor will be given to our distinguished President of CEO of Culture Masters, Mr. Seong Park. Mr. Secretariat will introduce him. Who is this Mr. Seong Park?
Yes, surely. So the speaker for the next session is Dr. Seong Park, who's the president of Culture Masters, the publisher of Aliran Culture Connect. He's an heritage expert specializing in global cultural cooperation, policy development, and intangible heritage safeguarding. And the discussant with him will be Dr. Jayarajan, who is the founder of Folkland and Secretary General of ICCN. He's a renowned folklorist, researcher, and cultural ambassador with global lectures, published works, expertise in intangible heritage safeguarding. So the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you very much. You introduce both speakers, huh? You make our life easy. Okay, then, Mr. Seong Park, you will start,
Correct.
please.
Thank you very much. Alicia Ikramov, our chairperson, and Gunjan Josh. Actually, it is my great honor and pleasure to speak about our major program and projects. First of all, really, I'd like to express my deep gratitude to all the speakers and discussants who joined this Culture Masters webinar today. Let me share the screen first. So I'd like to let me present PPT based on my slides. You know, who we are, Culture Masters is an international cultural enterprise dedicated to supporting ICH artists and cultural communities. It's very important. We are focusing on helping or collaborating with ICH artists and also cultural community. And we have been focusing on digital storytelling, bridging heritage to life, and global networking, which connects cultural artists and stakeholders. At the same time, some capacity building program to empower cultural artists and stakeholders. So we do have platforms such as Aliran Culture Connect, as a global online news paper, which is specialized in the intangible cultural heritage, and YouTube and social media. I'm happy to introduce some major program and projects. So we have been developing World Intangible Heritage Festival and Contest, which we call it WIN. WIN, stands for the triumph of ICH artists and communities through global events. And also we have, working on excavating ICH digital innovation projects, which is very important for the future environment for the ICH preservation and promotion. So leveraging AI and VR and AR in addition to blockchain for preservation and engagement. So we've been formulating team and working on the more sophisticated programs to link our projects to the ICH digital innovation projects. And we have operated Arirang Master programs, Arirang Masters program, which is very peculiar and to recognize ICH Masters worldwide. So far, we have Arirang Masters from 21 countries. So you can nominate your artist on our website. At the same time, we have managed Arirang Culture Connect, a global cultural news platform. So we invite you to apply as an international reporter, which is very specialized in the media and in the field of intangible cultural heritage. At the same time, recently we have focused on developing, ICH certification and e-ICH marketplace, for the future project. So it's a kind of a trusted certification system for heritage-based products. So let me explain more about global cultural projects, which is 2025 IP WIN. This is invitational performances of World Intangible Heritage in multiple cities, such as Incheon and Gyeonggi, Siheung City, Suwon City, across the Korea, nearby Seoul, capital city. And then, we're gonna invite overseas ICH team and travel, to provide their showcase in Korean cities. In addition, in 2026, we are preparing the pre-WIN, which invites 50+ international performance troops from all over the world. And the main event will be 2028 WIN, which will be the ICH Olympics, featuring 100+ teams from around the world. So we cordially invite international teams to register your information on our official webpage to communicate for the future. Okay, let me speak about vision for 2020 WIN. We think this event, it will be a landmark event, blending tradition and innovation. So over 100 countries presenting diverse cultural arts, not only performance, and handicrafts and other, social practices. So we can enjoy the very diverse ICH elements from all over the world. And these digital solutions, VR, AR, metaverse exhibitions to be organized. And we are also, as Mr. Kaloyan explained, they do perform some championship program. Then we do, planning some cultural and creative competition, but it's not for grading or putting some hierarchy, but we want to promote creativity and some ethnic beauties from ICH elements. So it will help the transmission among young generation. At the same time, we will be organizing expert forums on sustainable cultural development during 2028 WIN. On the other hand, we have been making efforts to develop some digital innovation in ICH field. So we, Culture Masters, is leading digital transformation in ICH. So we have ichmaster.com, which covers digital archiving for global access and VR and AR interactive experiences, in addition to online learning and networking for cultural exchanges. So we do believe that the impact would be strong digital presence and higher engagement levels, in addition to greater accessibility to cultural knowledge. We do have goals of Culture Masters, global initiatives, such as creating a meaningful change in this ICH field and cultural exchange area. So by connecting heritage with modern content and stimulating local economies through cultural events, and finally strengthening international cooperation and cultural diplomacy. At the same time, we do also working on developing Culture Masters Global Academy and Leadership, which will empower future cultural leaders to promote leadership and creativity development and these digital skills for global outreach and growth. As I told you, we do have 34 Arirang Masters from 21 countries, and it's been expanding. Let me look at the strategic partnership and expansion. Actually, we do have been building strong global networks, collaborating with global institutions such as ICAS and the organization of our IAB members from 15 countries. We have very strong ties among each other, and to promote intangible cultural heritage, and also revitalizing urban areas through heritage preservation. And finally, ICH certification and eICH marketplace would be very important to empower artisans worldwide. So this is the first Culture Masters Global webinar in 2025, and we projecting organize the quarterly expert discussions through this webinar series. So the future topics would be sustainable heritage management and emerging technology trends and ICH certification, and Culture Masters Global Collaboration Strategies. And then recently we have prepared the special web page to receive your feedback and application. So please visit our website and sign up to join the discussion on our website. Yes, join Culture Masters. You can apply for performances and events through, for WIN 2025 to 2028, IP WIN, pre-WIN, and main event 2028 WIN. And also you can volunteer and support cultural heritage. Especially, we would like to invite you to be partner with us through sponsorships. So visit our website and follow us on social media. Culture Masters, nutshell, we are building roads, not walls. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Together we go further. Those who build walls will perish, but those who will build roads will thrive. This is really the long time the saying that I cherish. So Culture Masters, forging the future of cultural exchange, global unity, and world where heritage unites us all. Join us. Let's build the future together. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Seon Park. So Dr. Jan Vakil, would you like to join us because you are discussant in this session? Floor is yours. Please switch on your microphone.
Yes, thank you very much. I think Dr. Parker has beautifully narrated about Culture Masters, and he has shown that this is the only organization which go beyond the boundaries, and it includes everything, all domains of intangible cultural heritage. That is even the storytelling, networking, capacity building, and it opens the platform for the world intangible cultural heritage. And for the last several months, I have been very, very seriously involving the works of the Culture Masters, and is writing our stories in his digital paper. And this is go beyond the boundaries really, or it covers almost all world. And he has shown several things like, and this, of course, this is the one of the best webinar they have hosted. And every time they recognize the artists from the world outside. And this is one of the occasions, worldwide there is no recognition for the artists, for the intangible cultural heritage bearers. But he has shown, Culture Masters has shown that there is a platform to recognize the artists, recognize the ICH bearers outside their boundaries, outside or it go beyond the South Korea, Republic of Korea, and embraces the people. And I am very happy to say that Culture Masters have already recognized two eminent artists from India, Anwesha Mahanda and Guru Sadanam Balakrishnan. One is Satriya artist and the other is Kathakali artist from Kerala. Anvesha from Assam, and Sadram Balakrishnan is from Kerala. So we are very happy that this is one of the best examples of recognizing the people around the world. So I can, and we are going beyond that. I think, I'm very happy to say that we know that we are proceeding to win. That is, 2025 and 2028. 2026 we have a pre Olympic in 2026, and the final program will be in the year 2028, and we people are ready to go. And I have already circulated the message to almost all people, ICH bearers and the participants. Definitely, it's a great opportunity to the ICH bearers or the performers. So thank you very much. I think I have to stop right now. So it's a wonderful example. We have to promote this organization. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vakil. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Najbuddin Alam, because there is some video presentation as well, right? So Mr. Naj, could you kindly share with us your video film?
It's about the win, from 25 to 2028. World Intangible Heritage Festival and Contest to be held in Korea.
2025 to 28. Right. Thank you.
So we're waiting for the film, right? Some short video.
Cultural exchange has begun. From 2025 to 2028, the world will gather to celebrate the living traditions of humanity. Cultural heritage connects the past with the future. Through a series of global events, Culture Masters is building the world's first cultural Olympics for intangible heritage. WIN represent the triumph of ICH artists and communities on the world stage. Our traditions tell our stories. WIN gives us a global stage to share them with the world. The journey starts with IP WIN 2025, an invitational showcase of the world's finest intangible heritage performances. This marks the first step in our cultural movement. In 2026, Pre-WIN sets the stage for the future. This pilot event welcomes 50+ international performance groups, testing new formats that will shape the ultimate experience in 2028. Pre-WIN is more than a festival. It's an experiment in how tradition and innovation can merge on a global scale. In 2028, WIN will become the world's first cultural Olympics, a global gathering of heritage, creativity, and innovation. WIN 2028 will redefine how the world engages with intangible cultural heritage. A celebration of the past embracing the future. Heritage is not just about preservation, it's about adaptation and innovation. scholars, and culture enthusiasts, WIN welcomes you to experience, learn, and engage with the world's intangible heritage like never before. WIN honors authenticity, creativity, and cross-cultural collaboration, celebrating both tradition and transformation. WIN is made possible through global partnerships. Together, we support cultural sustainability and heritage preservation. Join us as a partner, sponsor, or participant. Together, let's shape the future of global heritage. A new cultural movement begins. The world is waiting. Be part of WIN.
Thank you very much. Indeed, it's fantastic. Huh? So maybe could, as a moderator, I ask a question. Kalayan, what's your impression? Because you are master in the organization of many festivals. So what's your impression? What's your comments? It would be we would be very happy to hear your comments. The floor is to the Kalayan Nikolov. Yes.
Thank you very much. I see future in this Olympics. We know the history where the last Olympics were of culture, but I hope we grow the history now, and we have experience enough. I hope it will be nice. It's very clever that make a movement of different stages to grow to the Olympic stage. How it's a name of globally, maybe. I will help with all my
we're very much counting on your help.
Yes, we work more than 5,000 artistic groups all over the world, and I think that if we publish the information in our site, in our platform, will be very fast recognized this event, and maybe we'll have win.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Kalayan.
I think we must join the government all over the world with a fine leader, with a fine make interest of there to support the teams. As maybe we must see how Olympics do everything, how is management and payments of all needs, and learn from them to make so big events.
Thank you. Ivan, would you like to also add something? Because I saw you are raising the hand.
Yeah, yes, very much. I think this is a wonderful initiative, and I would like to applaud it. I think also that what is important is actually that because the Olympics, as we know it, is well, you know, ICH is not really it's not a competition. It's like it's something that more that it has some other values, while the Olympics, the sports Olympic as we know it, is like, you know, they have as a slogan, it's faster, stronger, things like that. But ICH is very different. So I think the values that we can share through this event is really something that they would also could learn something from in the Sports Olympics. I like it. It's like our Olympics should be focused on like these core values of dialogue, of exchange, of diversity, all of these beautiful things, which is the core values of ICH and the convention. So I think that is I think this would be a really great contribution from us to the world. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ivan. So Young Park, you raise the hand. You would like to comment back? Yes, please.
Yeah, briefly. Yeah. Actually, yes. Thank you for your comments, Ivan Falk, and especially Kaloyan Nikolov from EAFF. You know, actually, Europe Folklore Festival Institute has been very cooperative, for Culture Masters work since 2023, and in developing this, precursor, the WePath 2023. So definitely we're going to continue the very deep collaboration with EAFF. We need to learn from them. In relation to comments of Ivan Fogg, has made, actually we fully understand. Yeah, I was grown up with hearing that, core principle of 2003 convention, right? So yeah, of course, we're not intending to promote any, cause any hierarchy or some competition itself. But other than that, we need to give some stimulus or interesting, or we should give some chance to develop their creativity, via this kind of contest, in terms of broader sense of venue to promote diversity of intangible cultural heritage. In that sense, I think we need, definitely we need in-depth research in developing this contest and kind of competitions in this field. But definitely we should promote diversity of ICH in the first priority. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Seon Park. I understood already that we are going beyond the 2003 convention, because according to your video, it also looks very much related with the 2005 convention, which is on cultural industries, so promoting cultural industries. So, but I would like to also listen from Miss Virginia Masol from Botswana. Virginia, would you like to make some of your comments? Virginia, please, floor is you.
Yes. Thank you very much. I wanted to say this World ICH Festival it's a great opportunity for us. I think not just for us, but for the whole world to showcase their diverse cultures. So from our side and also from the Culturati, I think it will be a great opportunity for Botswana to showcase their ICH elements. We have some ICH elements that we have listed. I think it will be great to see them participating in the World ICH Festival. Also, it will also give us an opportunity to introduce our traditional games. We have these traditional games that at the Culturati, we have an annual traditional game that we have people participating. So it will also be a great opportunity for us to introduce the game to the world, and also to have people participating in this the games, not just from Botswana, but also an opportunity for other countries to experience our culture. So I think it's also a great platform for not just diversity, but also for cultural exchange. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Virginia. I also would like to give the floor, if you allow me, to our distinguished member from Brazil, Camila. You are so much experienced in the festivals, particularly Rio Samba Festival, or maybe many other festivals which taking place in Brazil. You had a great experience. What will be your comments? Camila, I would be very pleased to hear your voice as well.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that a competition like this, not a competition, but an event like this, would involve a lot of people, not just artists, but the schools and big community all around the world. Here in Brazil, all the events we have several festivals, and I will present this in my panel in all the regions we have. It's a great involvement from our community and especially from the schools. So since we are very little, the development comes from the schools, from the young students. And this build a very strong perception of our festival, of our culture, till when we are adults. And I'm pretty sure here in Brazil, usually the festivals are not competitive. Usually they are just a showcase of our culture. Even though they are not competitive, there is a competition behind. And I will also say this in my presentation. And the development of the society and the economy and the tourism and the gastronomy, the hotel, and everything in the country is so big and so relevant when we have such events. So I'm pretty sure that these Olympics will develop a lot the culture, the economy of all the world, all the participants, because every time a country will take part in this event, in this Olympic, is not just the groups that will go to the Olympics to do the representation that will grow. It's all the country that will do a movement to have a better representation of the society there. So it's a brilliant idea, and I really support it.
Thank you very much, Camille. Thank you very much indeed. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are now, according to our time frame, we're moving to the next session, session 4, because we have many other distinguished speakers, like Camila just told us. We have other speakers from other part of the world. So now I would like to give the floor to my colleague, Mr. Dr. Vakil, who will substitute me as a moderator. Dr. Vakil, you have a floor, please. Your term is started.
Yes, thank you very much. All right, next. Jahangir. Yes, next session we go for this. This is on sustainable urban development and intangible heritage policies. We have two speakers, Jahangir Salimkhanov from Azerbaijan and Jong-Soo Han, Suwon City, Gyeonggi Province, South Korea. So first of all, I called Jahangir Salimkhanov from Azerbaijan for his presentation.
Hello.
So can I briefly introduce you, sir?
Yes, please do.
Yes. Sorry. So the presenter is Mr. Jahangir Salimkhanov. He is the advisor to the Minister of Culture of Azerbaijan and the member of the European Cultural Parliament. He's a curator and a facilitator of artistic projects worldwide. And with an extensive experience in cultural policy, heritage safeguarding, and contemporary music, he has contributed to global festivals, conferences, and museum initiatives. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you. And good afternoon or good evening, depending on who is situated where. And I would like to explore together with you the topic of sustainable urban development and intangible heritage policies, which in our, let's say, traditional perceptions are antagonist notions, because intangible heritage is something which has confronts the let's say, its enemy in urban development. But when we say about sustainable urban development, of course, they could be good friends and help each other. So I'll now move to my slides. Give me just a moment to. So I'm sharing this. Okay. Sustainable urban development and intangible cultural heritage policies I made the bullet points in the presentation, but in my text, I would like to stress out that with over half of the world now is urban, cities grapple with environmental, social, and cultural pressures. And I'll attempt to show how intangible heritage, which is living traditions like crafts and festivals, can transform cities into sustainable, vibrant hubs. And let's start with broad implications and then spotlight bold cases. Urbanization drives progress but taxes resources, widens gaps, and risks cultural loss. Sustainable urban development seeks harmony, economic vitality, ecological care, social equity, via green design and inclusive planning. And the key is that intangible heritage, as UNESCO defines it, includes dynamic traditions, rituals, crafts, knowledge, sustained by communities. It's a living tool, rooting cities in identity with addressing modern needs. Why we need to prioritize this? Intangible heritage builds social cohesion, that is very important, uniting diverse urban dwellers. It sparks economies through tourism, local trades, and offers sustainable practices like resource management. I'll give examples later on. Yet there is a tension. Democratic access to arts and cultural participation often bends to urban competition. We know also that cities chase global status. Heritage can be commodified or even downsided or even erased. Public engagement is crucial to preserve these traditions, but nurturing them demands a shift beyond monuments towards living practices. That is what I thought. Social inequality manifests in access to resources and cultural participation and creates divides. Environmental degradation and pollution are exacerbated by increased urban activity and so on. And also loss of cultural identity as modern developments overshadow historical neighborhoods. We all know many cases in our countries or while traveling and reading all reports about that. So the cultural stakes are first of them is challenges for urbanization. And I described that here. And the need for sustainable solutions. Because sustainable cities require economic vitality, and ecological balance is essential to maintain urban environments and biodiversity, and social equity ensures that all community members benefit from urban development. Now I would like to stress the role of UNESCO in this process. I would like to recall that in 2016 there was a UNESCO report titled Culture and its Urban Future. And it charts a threefold course. First, harness culture for human inclusive cities, as an example, festival, which are knitting communities together. Second, enhance the built and natural environments through heritage, like eco-friendly crafts shaping urban design. Third, embed culture in urban policies for holistic sustainability. As an example, echoing Sustainable Development Goals number 11, safe, resilient cities. This is a practical vision for urban progress. Now I would like very shortly touch the broad implications of this position. What does this mean? Cities need participatory policies, communities steering their cultural paths, not just planners doing that. Economically, heritage fuels jobs and tourism, but only if inclusive. Environmentally, traditional knowledge like water or fire management, I'll give examples later on, offers low-impact solutions. And what is the danger? Urban sprawl buries these assets. And what is promising? Where is the hope for better future? Cities become thriving centers of harmony. Culture is indeed a sustainability cornerstone. Now I am going already from general points to turn to practical cases, which I try to collect. So here is again different strands through which we have collected the cases. The first one is from my native country, Azerbaijan, and about Azerbaijani carpet weaving and National Carpet Festival, which was launched last year, and the next one is announced for May this year. And first edition was on national scale, but it was a big success, and so hosts have decided to make it international. And this year there will be already in 18 carpet producing countries invited with their national presentations. One of, let's say, highlights of the last year festival, which was easily Instagrammable and everybody liked it, and it was a big sensation for the tourists visiting the city, was that all the pedestrian area of old town of Baku-Çarşıhar was covered with carpets. So you maybe even see it on this in this picture. Now I move to another case. I would like to cite the case of Varanasi and Ayodhya in India. These two are holy cities pulsing with Rama Leelas, Ramayana performances, and pilgrimage rituals. Under state programs Hriday and Prasad, they merge heritage with development. One moment, I'll move to the slide. They merge heritage with development. Pilgrims drive tourism and trade, while rituals bond communities. Urban plans honor sacred spaces, crafting sustainable spiritual hubs. A compelling case for heritage-led city system. The next slide and next case is Subak irrigation system in Bali. It was listed by UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage Representative List in 2012, and it implies management of water cooperatively for rice paddies. It unites farmers socially, sustains agricultural economies, and inspires, this is important in regard to our topic, inspires urban water conservation, like community-led rainwater systems. This tradition tackles urban water worth sustainably. Next case is from Alps in European countries like Switzerland and Austria. And I noticed in the representative list two different years, let's say, elements fixed in the list, which are about alpine pasture culture. It was, I discovered for myself that the similar practice exists also in Azerbaijan, when the shepherds have a semi-nomad lifestyle. So they move from between summer and winter settlements in order to manage their cattle. And it was inscribed across Alpine nations, and it blends transhumans. It's let's say transportation of humans, with also with avalanche know-how, because people which live in harsh Alpine conditions in winters, they have developed traditional knowledge of how to protect themselves from the danger of avalanches. And near urban areas, that shapes disaster planning. Green spaces as hazard buffers, and it ties rural economies to cities. And that is heritage fortifying urban resilience. And at last, my fifth case is from ants, from Bolivia, Peru, and Chile. And it is about very specific and indigenous way of cultivating potato, because it's a so-called terrace. They are very carefully using the available land and create terraces on which the potato is cultivated, grown. And it was listed in 2019. And this technique uses sustainable farming methods. In cities, how you could ask what is the relation to urban development? In cities, that boosts food security through urban gardens, greening spaces, and reducing imports. So this indigenous wisdom is feeding urban sustainability. These cases show heritage, how heritage is driving cohesion, economies, and sustainability. And they are blueprints for urban progress. And I put here just quick takeaways. And would like to stress out that these examples serve as effective blueprints for integrating heritage into modern urban development strategies. Only due to shortage of time, my conclusion is here. So it's about significance of intangible heritage, economic benefits, environmental impact, social cohesion, policy recommendations, which are developing policies that integrate intangible heritage into urban planning. And by this, such a way, we could enhance sustainability and cultural richness in cities. And future directions are investing in the preservation and promotion of intangible heritage that will pave the way for innovative urban development strategies. And now, as the last, actually, one of the last pages, I would like very briefly, I don't have even time to tell more about these brilliant and compelling cases, just briefly name them. Kyoto's textile production in Japan, which is weaving sustainable fashion into urban life. Australia's indigenous fire management, curbing wildfires with ancient burns. It's very interesting for us how it's possible to prevent wildfires by burning separate, let's say, fragments on the soil. And then the Bali Spirit Festival, which is blending yoga and eco-action. We know that many people are now traveling to Bali to practice yoga. So it's also related now with eco-action. Very smart, in a smart way. Then very famous long-run Rainforest World Music Festival in Kuching, Sarawak, Malaysia, which is harmonizing culture and conservation, because all visitors are confronting not only beautiful music performances, but also heritage conservation. Then a case of Terra Madre Salone del Gusto, which is a famous slow food festival in Italy, which is linking food heritage to urban sustainability. One more case is dry stone walling across Europe, and especially in Greece, Portugal, Spain, which is, and also the good examples are also across England and Scotland, which is crafting eco-friendly urban walls without using mortar. And at last, last case, it's Cape Town's urban electronic music, which is fusing African rhythms, whereas special genres which are appearing every maybe 5 years now. Very fashionable one is Amapiano, and previously there were Gnom and other styles, and all they are based on traditional African music, but at the same time, it's upfront, contemporary, and well accepted by worldwide audiences. And there is a Cape Town Electronic Music Festival, which also connects heritage with newest developments. These treasures beckon further discovery. Our important task should be to formulate the policies that unlock this potential, creating urban futures rooted in heritage, yet ready for tomorrow. So if you have questions to me, also I'm not specialist in these cases, but I think we all could discuss further on our meetings right away or later on how urban development, sustainable urban development could be supported and enriched by preserving culture and developing intangible cultural heritage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jahangir Salim Khanov. You have, yes, there are, some questions. Yes, you have beautifully shown how ICH helps sustainable urban development, and you have already illustrated several examples all over the world how ICH promotes sustainable development, sustainable urban development. It's a wonderful paper. So there are several questions. I think, Mr. Alisher Ikanov, he has shown his hand.
No,
You want to...
Maybe I will give the floor to my director first, because he raised the hands first. Mr. Evren Rudbil, he raised the hand first.
Yes, okay. Okay.
Actually, I wasn't raising my hand. I was clapping.
Oh, sorry.
But thank you for your presentation.
Okay.
It gave us our insight about how to integrate these two issues, because modernization almost usually people think that contradicts with the cultural heritage. But you gave very interesting examples about combining these values without any conflict and for the benefit of the people. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Now, may I, Mr. Moderator?
Yes, please. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Jahangir Salim Khanov. Indeed, it is very comprehensive presentation covering all continents. Just maybe a simple question. To what extent in your study did you just analyze also the role of UNESCO creative cities in the promoting sustainable urban development? Because it is in cities, it is in urban environment, and there are, I don't remember, it's something like several hundreds creative cities in the world in seven directions, I think. And to what extent this creative cities is really works for sustainable urban development, because most of the field of activities of the creative cities, it is ICH. It is folk and art.
Yes, I agree with you, because by definition, several directions of this program already imply active development of ICH. For example, crafts and then culinary. Of course, culinary might be contemporary and innovative, but mostly it's based on traditional culinary traditions. The same is about, it might be music, but not necessarily. I mean, in each of them, there could be element of ICH. And by the way, among the cases which I carefully collected throughout the world, there were some which are from the practices of UNESCO Creative Cities Network. So not all are listed in representative lists, but exactly are from creative cities practices.
For example, the state of Amazonas of Brazil, the biggest state of Brazil, it is submitting itself as a creative city in the United Nations due to the gastronomy. because the gastronomy, in the north of Brazil, there are several typical elements of fruits and fishes and grains, and so they are betting on this to submit Amazonas as a cultural city.
Yes, I agree. And there are also some, let's say, movements in gastronomy and culinary, like 100 miles, which means that chefs are using only produce from around 100 miles, and which means that usually the ways of producing these, I don't know, raw materials for the cooking are also based on traditional and indigenous practices. So it's also in a way supporting, yes, some traditions.
Yeah, this is the case of Amazonas.
Mm-hmm. And I would like to use this opportunity also to contribute to the discussion of Wind Festival. First of all, I would like to remind us, Mr. Falk mentioned that it should not be competition. By the way, Olympic Games has also changed the very slogan which was used for more than 100 years. It was Citius, Fortius, Altius. Let's say stronger, higher, and faster. And now it has additional element, together, which means that competition is not the most important. Most important, even in a sports movement, is to be together. And to be together stronger, together higher, and together, I don't know, faster. So in our case, first of all, sorry for this note. I mean, it's not very, maybe not important, but for the future, in this video, short video, the music background was not from intangible heritage. I would prefer that what we are striving for, we are looking for, let's say, new approaches to our heritage. It could be based on Korean or any other, or maybe combination of different music, let's say, traditions, but not this, let's say, energetic, let's say, Hollywood style music. So if we promote something, some idea, it could be also supported with, let's say, this approach. And in terms of presenting, still it will be kind of hidden competition. Everybody will try to show its cultural heritage in a best way. But maybe we should think also at that event about, let's say, empathy between nations. So because sometimes some traditions which are very precious for its bearers, for its communities, when they are presented on a global scale, they might be, some people will just politely tolerate presentation. So how to make people to be empathic about that, so that let's say when we meet in some way, let's say I suppose it will take place in Seoul. So we are not just politely accepting all presentations, but we are really, we see examples of cooperation or maybe hybrid, let's say, products which are between bearers of different traditions. Of course, it's only raw, let's say, notes which are just were provoked by your presentation, but let's think also about that. Thank
you. Thank you, Mr. Jahangir. So we have to go for the next session. Yeah, you have a wonderful presentation. So we will move to the other session. Thank you, everybody. Yes, next presenter, Jong-Soo Han.
So to briefly,
yes, please introduce. Yes, please introduce.
Mr. Sunny Kanov, can you please stop sharing the screen for us? Thank you. So to describe our next speaker is Mr. Han Jong-Soo, who's the academic director of the Korean Heritage Society. He specializes in Korean history and cultural heritage, and with a PhD from Chung-Ang University, he has worked on heritage restoration and diplomacy focusing on Johnson era villages and overseas Korean legacies. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Let me start my presentation topic: history and culture of Suwon City, a city of filial piety, a city of modernity. My name is Jong Soo Han, and I am the director of Korean Heritage Society, which is centered on the investigation and research and utilization of Korean cultural property in Korea and abroad. Today, I have the honors of introducing the history and culture of Suwon City, Gyeonggi Province, Korea. Suwon Special City in Gyeonggi-do is a city of historical and cultural value. It is home to Suwon Hwasong Fortress, which was built by King Jeongjo, the 22nd King Joseon, out of piety for his father Sado Seja Crown Province, and was registered on UNESCO World Heritage in 1997. The first starts Suwon Hwasong. Suwon Hwasong was constructed when King Jeongjo, Joseon Dynasty, who was crowned as a crown province, but failed to ascend to the throne due to a party dispute, moved the tomb of his father, Sado Seja, who died in later state, from Mount Baebongsan in Yangju to Hwasong Mountain in Suwon, the largest famous temple in Joseon, and moved the town near the volcano to its current location under Mountain Paltalsan in Suwon. Suwon Hwasong Fortress was built not only because of Jeongjo fire piety, but also as a center of a political initiative with grand political ambitions to eradicate partisan politics and realize a strong monarchy, and to serve as a defense fortress south of the capital. Construction began in January 1794. Was complete in September 1796 under the commander Choi Jae-gong, a vice minister who served as prime minister. After his construction, Suwon Hwasong Fortress was damaged and lost during the Japanese occupation and the Korean War. But from 1976 to 1979, most of the castle was repaired and restored its original appearance according to Hwasong Seongnyeok Uge, published shortly after its construction. Hwasong Fortress has not only been preserved also in its original form, but Suwon streams, which used to flow through the North Gate, still flow today, and the street network connecting Paltalmun, Janganmun, Hwasong Temporary Palace, and Changnyeongmun still maintains the main framework of the city internal street network. The castle was built for political and economic reasons rather than for military purpose. And the castle itself reflects the Eastern philosophy of filial piety. So it was a castle with spiritual, philosophical value in addition to cultural value and cultural asset related to it have been well preserved. Suan Hwasong Fortress is fortification castle, which is not found in China or Japan. It can be said to be the best of Oriental castles because it has both military defense and commercial function, and its facilities are the most scientific, rational, and practical structure. The next, Yeongneung. Yeongneung is a mausoleum where Jangjo, father of King Jeongjo of Joseon Dynasty, and known as Sadoseja and the Haegyeonggung are enshrined together. The tomb of Sadoseja was originally located at the foot of Baebongsan Mountain in Yangju City, Gyeonggi-do, as Sumyo, but after Jeongjo ascended to the throne, the honors Sadoseja as a Jangheon-seja. He elevated the tomb of the Yeongu-won, but soon after, the cemetery was moved to current location under his direction and named Hyundeung-won, and it's said to Jeongjo who was extremely fired, was buried next to him after his death. In 1899, King Gojong was Korean Empire, honored his great-great-grandfather, King Janghun, as Jangjo, and upgraded the name Hyundeung-won to Yeongneung. The next, King Jeongjo journey to Hwasong. Jeongjo journey Hwasong took place from February 9 to 1795. On February 9th, Jeongjo left Changdeokgung Palace with Haegyeonggung in tow, ate lunch and Yeongbongjeong by the Han River, slept the temporary palace in Sinheung County, and next day in Sampung temporary palace before arriving and sleeping at Hwasong temporary palace. Normally, the king would be traveled to Hwasong in one day, but because he was visiting an elderly man, he slowed down and arrived in 2 days. The king's procession was grand procession that was 4 kilometers long, and many people watched it along the way. The King Jeongjo traveled outside the palace more often than any other kings. In his 24 years on the throne, he made six trips, half of which were to visit tomb of his father, Sadoseja, to official and the mostly unofficial ceremony. This was the act compassion for his father Sadoseja and filial piety for his mother Haegyeonggung. In particular, in 1795, he began his journey to Hwasong as a meaningful event that summarized to 20 years of reign of celebrating 66th birthday of his mother. The next, Muedobo Dongji and 24 martial arts. At the beginning of his ascension to the throne, King Jeongjo announced reforms to strengthen Joseon Armed Force. In particular, he discussed national defense and stated that wars must be won. Therefore, he standardized various martial arts for military training and established the 24 martial arts to training the strongest army, Jangnyeong. In Suwon Special City, the citizens of Suwon has been performing demonstration of the 24 martial arts for over 20 years. The city takes pride in historical fact, and Jangnyeong, the strongest army in Joseon, was stationed in Suwon, the new city created by King Jeongjo, and has taken the lead in passing it down and promoting it with citizens. At the beginning of reign, Jeongjo sought to control Joseon's military, literary, and martial affairs through Gyujangak, and the military through Jangnyeong. Jeongjo's philosophy of national defense was that through martial rules was to prevent war. So he reformed the military system, studied various military methods, compiled military books tailored to Joseon condition, and training soldiers with excellent martial art skill. Jeongjo decided that the unified and standardized martial arts training method was necessary to improve the martial arts skill of the soldier in each army. So he compiled the best martial art book in Joseon. It was created after thoroughly researching and understanding 145 martial arts related books and taking the best of them. In 2017, it was recognized as the best martial arts book in Joseon and the best martial art book in the world, and was registered as a World Heritage Site. The current demonstration of the 24th edition, the martial art, coincides with the restoration of Hwaseong-gung, Hwaseong-haengung, and the martial arts demonstration that reflect the health gesture and energetic spirit of the Korean people are being performed against the backdrop of Hwaseong-haengung. So in conclusion, as described above, Suwon was a city, quiet, and a representative city of historical and cultural Korea with modern castle and martial art. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Han. It's a wonderful presentation. You have shown or you have described about intangible cultural heritage, natural heritage, as well as the tangible cultural heritage. Tangible heritage, a palace or the buildings, how it serves for the intangible cultural heritage. And actually natural heritage also, you have shown several natural heritage, beautiful rivers, water bodies, etc. in this. So thank you very much. Is there any questions? Floor is open. Is there any questions? No questions?
Yeah, actually, I have
Yes, please. Dr.
yeah,
Park, yes.
thank you, Mr. Song. He's actually Dr. Song. He's been engaged with cultural heritage preservation for more than 10 years, and also he worked in United States in relation to preservation of old, Korean governmental, facilities, and it's a cultural heritage. And recently, he's been engaged with developing some cultural projects for the development of Suwon City, which is very close to Seoul, capital city. And Suwon is one of a very renowned city for royal parade, from the the central royal palace to Suwon City. Actually, it is symbolized. He says piety, right? To respect, the parents and the royal family, actually. So his father. So Suwon is very, promising city for. Actually, we've been communicating each other to develop some collaborative work in relation to the wind projects. So Gyeonggi-do province, as I told you, Gyeonggi province, Suwon City and Hwasong City, and in addition to Incheon City, some, the Yeonsu-gu and Cheongna and Bupyeong. So, culture masters will be engaged with several cities in terms of promotion intangible cultural heritage for the sustainable urban development through WIN projects from 2025 to 2028. So, okay, thank you very much for your presentation, Mr. Song. Okay, that's it.
Okay, we are going to the last session. Is there any other questions? No. Okay, we can go for the next session. Interactive discussion, isn't it? Ms. Gunjan Joshi, please proceed.
Yes. Yes. So the last session is the interactive discussion. We have 3 panelists with us. So maybe I can, Dr. Jayarajan, maybe I can introduce all the panelists together.
Yes, please,
or should
please,
we
please. Yes.
Okay.
All together.
So,
Yes.
all right. So we have with us Ms. Camelia Leal Rosa, who's the president of the Abrasofa. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Which is she's a cultural advocate, an interpreter, and an international speaker promoting Brazilian folklore and diversity. She has led global folklore projects, served as a jury member, and contributed to research on cultural impacts, holding expertise in strategic planning and international collaborations. We welcome you. We also have with us Ms. Tumani Virginia Masol, who's a living heritage expert from Botswana. She trains communities on UNESCO's 2003 and 2005 conventions and promotes cultural preservation. She is the founder of the Culturati magazine and Botswana's cultural exchange coordinator for the Sequele Ma Africa. We welcome you. And lastly, we have with us Dr. Efrat B. Imambek, who's a professor at Kazakh National Conservatoire and Academy of Arts. He's a UNESCO observer and expert in Central Asian art education. He holds a PhD in global culture and an MPA from France, contributing to heritage preservation and Tengri studies. We welcome you. Thank you.
And Mr. Karimi is not there. Akbar Karimi.
No, as per Dr. Park, he has withdrawn.
Yes, withdrawn. Okay. Then go ahead. First, I invite Camila Leal Rosa. Please. And others can also interfere.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. It's me who should speaking. Well, first of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this webinar for choosing a very relevant topic, the ICH and sustainable urban development. Indeed, intangible heritage, unlike material heritage, in order to be preserved, must be living heritage. That is to say, manifest itself at least from time to time in events that are significant for people and communities. It is clear that tradition are better preserved in the rural environment. While the urban environment is aimed at innovation. Therefore, it is very important to understand the very complex processes of interactions between traditional heritage and the mentality of a city dweller. For example, if until recently the ICH was an opportunity for a city dweller to find psychological balance between his cultural identity on the one hand and standardized reality on the other. Now we already have several generations of people for whom the legacy of their ancestor is nothing more than a minute-long video clip on a device. It's a very important problem, I think. I would like to thank my colleagues who in their profound reports revealed the challenges and contradictions of these processes in their countries and most importantly show the mechanisms and tools for the development of ICH in the era of the onset of artificial intelligence. I fully support the provisions of the program represented in the report of Dr. Park, with additions made by Mr. Jahangir Selimkhanov and other colleagues. I would like to draw special attention to the positive experience of organizing folklore festival in Bulgaria, especially their competitive nature. For my part, I would like to add that approximately the same approach works in Kazakhstan. Festivals of various themes and different scales from district, region, and national are almost always built and competitions in numerous nominations. The most striking example includes the permanent world music festival, the Spirit of Tengri in Almaty, or the Festival of Traditional Culture on the Caspian Sea embankment in Aktau in the west of Kazakhstan, or the Ortike Festival in Karaganda last year. I apologize, my dear colleagues. I feel not so good this mouse. I wish all participants of this wonderful webinar a successful implementation of its results in our joint activities. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Efrat B. Imambek. Thank you very much. Though you are in hospital, but you have beautifully narrated the idea. Anyway, so we have three more speakers. Miss Camila Leal Rosa. Camila, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here today with you guys, all experts in culture, taking your time to discuss such a relevant topic. I will share my screen to show you
please.
my presentation. Yeah. So as I was already introduced, I am president of Abrazofa, Brazilian Association of Organizers of Folklore Festivals in Brazil. We've been doing events in more than 32 countries for more than 35 years. So it's a great pleasure for me to represent such organization and to bring about the cultural diversity in Brazil. Brazil is divided in 5 regions, 27 states, and each of these regions have a very particular culture, characteristics, scenario, nature, gastronomy, and everything. Brazil is a big country, as you know, the 5th country of the world in size. And it wouldn't be different of being such a diversity. As in India, you have also 27 states and different languages around, right? In Brazil, we have 7.5 kilometers of beach. It means much of the part of our culture is also related to the sea components. I mean, the gastronomy based on fish, our fruits are tropical, and this all matters and when we are talking about culture. The main impacts of festivals, different festivals in our country, and not just in our country, but all around the world, but especially here, are the economy, the tourism, and the culture itself, right? So when we're talking about economy, the biggest impact in the economy is the temporary employment, the full capacity of tourism services, and the new activities and opportunities that are created because of the festivals. The festivals are really big here, very relevant, and as I told you, usually they are not competitive. They are just a show-off of our culture. Brazil is a very known destination by many of these festivals that I will present itself. And of course, then it comes to very relevant the tourism. So a lot of people come to Brazil for the tourism, for the cultural tourism. So it means the gastronomy is very well spread. The hotels itself, and inbound and outbound. Inbound and outbound because it's not just the foreigners that come to Brazil to be in the festivals, but also the inner people go around to different states of Brazil to appreciate the festivals. It means, and also the culture is very well developed because of the safeguarding of the culture and the traditions, the human development, and the promotion of local products and goods. The promotion of local products and goods, because as I told, every different region has a different products. And every region try to support and to give more attention to their products. And making even new new plates, new dishes, new products, even cosmetics or treatments related to the fruits of that specific region. And the human development is related to the gaining of strength, of the gaining of knowledge, because the teaching of the culture starts since little child in the school. So since little children, they start learning about our culture, our festivals, our traditions, and it brings more confidence and culture for every people in our country. So it also human development. Also human development is connected to the parents or to the adults that always try to connect such culture, such opportunities to develop new products and new activities for their own support while they are in the festivals. For these reasons, we are connected, we're very well connected to the two, mainly to the two Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations, which is the number 8, decent work and economic growth, and the SDG 11, which is sustainable cities and communities, right? So the decent work and economic growth is big, mainly, of course, because of all these matters that I described, especially the temporary employment. And the sustainable cities and communities, as I mentioned before, one of our states, which is Amazonas, the biggest state of Brazil, is submitting themselves as a sustainable and creative city on United Nations because of the promotion of local products and goods in their gastronomy. I would like to show some images. I think the images tells a lot about our festivals, main festivals in Brazil. And through these, I would like you to see and notice how different they are from one region to the other. This is the Northeast. The biggest festival is called Festa Junina. Festa Junina is the celebration of the harvest, mainly peanuts and corn and milk. All the festival, all the country celebrates that, even though it's from the Northeast, all the country celebrates this, and this is in June. For example, in the schools, all the children in the schools, they are wearing this kind of costumes. And also, these festivals are also connected to the Sustainable Goal number 10, that is reduce inequalities. Because in such festivals, our culture is also always thinking about bringing the inclusion. So we have, you can see there, the children in the wheelchair. Even though they are in the wheelchair, they have movement restrictions, they are connected to the celebration. And they are bringing the economy, the creative economy to the place, to the game, producing different goods to sell during the celebrations in the schools. In the northeast of Brazil, they are more connected to the German, to the Europeans. So you can see even their faces are completely different. They are blonde, green eyes, and things like that. And they are celebrating the beer. They have this big festival that is beer. So here connects to another trend of the market, that is the beverage. In the South Brazil, they have this festival called Farroupilha, and you can see their costumes is completely different from the previous one. They are also connected to the European culture, and even this celebration with the ribbons, the children is dancing there, is connected to the Poland, to the Czech Republic, and they have the horses, and they are very patriotic, and they are always using these long dresses, and especially in the south, they through this festival they are talking about the animals protection, right? And usually in the south of Brazil, they are more how can I say with not the bad words, but they are more restricted, like man, woman together, you know, more common to see men and women together, not exactly man, woman, you know. So there is a movement in our country trying to also work the SDGs number 10, that is reduce inequalities. And I think the gender equality is number 9, the sustainable goal number 9, that they are working on this state, in this region also, to allow that women dance with women and men dance with men inside their culture, right? So it's another sustainable goal being developed there. They have, you can see always the festivals are always big. Lots of people there participating. Here they are, it's kind of the grapes festival, like the wine festival. I've been participating in several festivals and dance groups, and this is myself in the corner, some kind of 15 years ago, probably, participating and representing the Czech Republic, which is connected to the south of Brazil. I was director of a dance group representing Czech Brazilian culture. In the north of Brazil, we have Parintins. It's the biggest festival in Brazil. It is kind of similar to the carnival, but is indigenous. So they have a story that they present, kind of a theater, and they represent in this field is a kind of a football. You can imagine kind of a soccer camp, stadium, and then everybody is inside. All the city is divided in 2 colors, blue and red. And the special moment I bring this is also because of the impact that these festivals comes to the market. I'm pretty sure that you never saw Coca-Cola blue because Pepsi is blue, right? Pepsi is blue, but it's dark blue. But because of the festival in Amazonas, Coca-Cola launched the blue Coca-Cola, because otherwise they would be kind of supporting just half of the city. Then that's why they have the blue Coca-Cola and the red Coca-Cola in North Brazil, but it's just there. Here in my state, we don't have it. And you can see this is the place where the festival happens. In the upper image is a kind of a stadium. It is completely divided in 2 sides, and everything happens in blue, seriously. The houses are painted in blue, everything is painted in blue. And this makes a big change in the consumers, in the companies, in the investors. So it's a big impact in the economy, of course, and even in the products that are already very known in the market, but it has the power to change even a brand. Okay. Also in the north, we have Círio de Nazaré, which is very religious. So it's the biggest religious event in Brazil. It movements thousand billions of people there. They are praying, and this is connected also to the equality, the sustainable development goal number 9, because it has to do with the religion in tolerance. So even though the most part of Brazil is Catholic, there are other religions also. But this festival, you can see even not non-Catholics, they are taking part because it's related to faith. And you can see down image also the hills children taking part of the celebration. We have Carimbó, and here we have Arirang Master 2414, Nazaré Duo. She is our representative of Brazil, and she's the woman that most impact in this festival there. She is representative of economy, creative economy there. She teaches about this culture, about Carimbó, bringing this relevance to Brazil. And you can see here in the corner also my image, also because I'm learned of Carimbó. And this, I took this photo in India.
Correct.
When I was there in the ICCN program.
Yes, yes.
And the last part, the last festival, of course, is Carnival. Everybody knows Carnival. I mean, we are just starting Carnival this week, and well, the Carnival, we can say that is the biggest festival in Brazil, bringing movement of the tourism economy and culture, of course. I mean, more economy and culture nowadays. Also in the middle, you can see my own photo. I'm also a Carnival player for the last years, a dancer and presenting. This year, I'm not going to the parades for particular reasons, but I've been taking part of this program for several years. So, of course, I could give a lot of explanations about each of these festivals, each of these celebrations. I brought these images to figure out and to understand the beginning of my presentation, telling about and connecting with the Sustainable Development Goals, how it is important for our country. Oh, and also, this is very important here in this last slide, these two upper images. You can see there a structure with several kind of boxes in a field. This is also related to sustainability. It was an action done in Brazil. I think now it's kind of 5 years, maybe. Every school, Samba school, that is a community, they do the parades. These are the parades of Brazilian Carnival. They have a big avenue. They go through there, kind of 2,000 or 3,000 participants. They are going in this parade. And they have these big allegoric cars you can see in the corner, and everybody goes in a parade. So you can imagine that they take kind of 1 year to prepare these allegoric cars. And they had to have a special place to do all these ornaments, all the costumes, and all the allegoric cars. And a lot of materials also, right? You can see different materials there. So through the years, what the government did, they created this space. This is, we say, Samba Factory. So all the materials and all the Samba schools, they are preparing their stuff now inside these installations, these facilities. Because then every year the materials can be reused. They can be reused. So it's reducing the waste of materials in the environment. Also, one can use it from the other. One Samba school can use it from the other. And also because it makes it easier and to reduce the violence also, which is the violence is the, reduce the violence, I think is the SGS number 2 of the Sustainable Goal. And that is due to reduce the violence. So having all the participants going to the same place, they decided also to have a proper transportation, public transportation to the site, you know, so also reduce the violence within around, because all the materials and everything is concentrated in one place.
Okay, thank you,
Uh,
Camilla. We have no time now. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
your beautiful presentation. Okay,
Thank
so we
you.
have one more panelist here, Tumani Virginia Masole.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I believe they have my slide, so my presentation, so they will share the slide. My name is Virginia, like they have said. I'm an ICH expert. I'm from Botswana. I'm the founder of the Cultural Team magazine, a magazine that promotes art, culture, and tourism. In the first slide of my presentation, on the first page, I believe they will share it. I have put a picture of one traditional group from Botswana, which is the Bonda International Arts Group. This is one of the groups that performs in the National Arts Festival. I will talk more about the National Arts Festival as we go on. They got the first position in Sibirwa traditional song and dance. So this is one of the groups that have been invited to Korea to perform, to participate in the Danaji Festival. So I just felt I should honor them by just using their picture on the first cover. To give an overview of Botswana, Botswana is it's a landlocked country in Southern Africa with a population of about 2.4 million, and we are made up of 31 districts, and we have 4 main international airports for those who would like to visit and experience our diverse cultures. My country is well known for the diamonds and the athletes. I believe the whole world knows Litsile Tebogo and the Isaac Makwala, but we also have a very rich culture, and we celebrate our festivals through these cultures. So in Botswana, and as the culture, we always participate in this festival. Botswana ratified the 2003 convention in 2010. And since ratification, we have continued to make some efforts, both the government and the communities, they continue to make some efforts to implement the convention. We have established the National ICH Committee to spearhead the implementation of the convention at national level. I am also a member of the National ICH Committee. We also have district ICH committees. Like I've said, we have about 31 districts. We have district ICH committees to coordinate implementation at district level. We have so far listed 4 ICH elements in the UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding. We have also successfully hosted the 18th session of the Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. I believe Mr. Jay was one of the participants. He came to Botswana. Going forward, there's some commitments that the government have done or that they continue to do to promote intangible cultural heritage. We have established the National Arts Council of Botswana to develop and support creative and cultural industries. Their mandate, the National Arts Council of Botswana, is to develop and promote and protect diverse creative and culture in Botswana. The government also continue to promote local arts and culture. They fund community cultural festivals. We have what we call the National Arts and Culture Grant. There is also the National Arts Festival, where I said the group that I've used in the first slide, they have participated in that festival. The National Arts Festival is aimed at promoting local arts and culture and to showcase Botswana's diverse and unique cultures. So Botswana have also developed a national strategy for the creative industries. These are some of the commitments that Botswana continue to do. So these cultural festivals, they play a vital role in promoting culture and ensuring cultural preservation. So local communities host or organize these cultural festivals. They are the ones that showcase their cultural activities or representations in these festivals. They continue to showcase their diverse cultures. NGOs and the private sector also organize these cultural festivals as a way of maybe providing a platform to celebrate the rich culture and to appreciate and promote and raise awareness of the unique traditions. The purpose of these cultural festivals is to preserve cultural heritage and to also celebrate and promote a culture. And it is also to showcase the different traditions and dances, because Botswana is made up of so many ethnic groups with different cultures. We also see costume displays, we find traditional games, even some craft demonstrations in those festivals. So I believe that we all agree that even from the presentations that have been shown, we have seen that tourism plays it's a key driver in the economic growth of any nation. So in Botswana, the cultural festivals, they are now an emerging local tourism activity. They are even included in the Botswana tourism calendar of events, just to show you that now they are becoming a part of the tourism in Botswana. They continue to contribute to tourism development. They attract both local and international audiences, and this helps the communities to continue enacting their heritage and to also keep their traditions, and also to revitalize their cultural heritage. So cultural festivals therefore have a potential, I would say, to make Botswana a competitive tourist destination, hence placing culture as our next diamond. These festivals, they attract tourism investment in a sustainable way because they involve local communities. So cultural tourism therefore boosts national pride and economic growth, as well as preservation and promotion of culture. On the other hand, while the initial purpose of these festivals was to celebrate culture, they are increasingly integrating business strategies, because most of these cultural festivals are held annually. So they need financial assistance to be able to support these annual celebrations. Some of them continue to enjoy donations that are directed at supporting cultural preservation. I believe that this is a testament to dedication of cultural preservation for future generations, and it also fosters a cohesive community. The festivals also, I believe, they strengthen the trade and cultural goods and services in the local and national market, which offers employment and employment opportunities for the creative sector, which encourages decent work for the artists. So I'm going to share with you some of the festivals that promote the listed ICH elements. We have the Koma festival. It's called Koma 48 Hours Festival. This is one of the festivals that promotes the Dikopelo folk music of Bakatla Bakafela. This is one of the elements that has been inscribed into the UNESCO list. So this is a 2 days festival of Dikopelo folk music, and it's, we find all the Dikopelo groups participating, or choirs participating in these festivals. They also promote local production. We also have the other festival, which is Sisiankulu. Sisiankulu is one of the festivals that promotes the Peru folk dance and associated practices, which is one of the ICH elements that have been listed into the UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage. In this festival, there are some demonstrations that are shown. the community participates, even tourists, they go to these cultural festivals just to appreciate and celebrate and understand our cultural heritage. So in conclusion, I think I would just like to say, you know, a sustainable future involves the meaningful participation of the communities, because they're the ones who create and transmit the ICH. And also that these festivals, they provide a platform for identity, innovation, and creativity that can provide sustainable solutions and global challenges. They also promote creativity and resilience within societies, which contribute to long-term sustainable development. These festivals, they also bring together diverse cultures to showcase their traditions. And this is a testament of unity in cultural diversity. And this strengthens national identity. It fosters social cohesion and peace building. I think this is one of the reasons why in Botswana, we are a united nation despite our diverse cultures. So it is important to create spaces where communities can share and celebrate their culture. It is also important to partner and collaborate in these festivals, because it is really key in preserving the cultural heritage. It is also important. I encourage government to, and private organizations to start investing more in these creative sectors, because they have a great potential. And last but not least, ICH is shared heritage. Therefore, we should work together to safeguard and promote it. This is the end of my presentation, but I would like to again repeat to say we welcome the World Intangible Cultural Festival initiative by Culture Masters, and we are willing to collaborate with them on this initiative to make it a success. We are looking forward to participating as the Culturati and introducing our traditional board games to the world. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you very much, Virginia. You have done it very well. So we had 3 presenters, Efrat B. Imam Beg, Camila Lil Rosa, and Tumani Virginia. So 3 presenters have done beautifully about their festivals, their intangible cultural heritage in their nations. Yeah, we have seen this. We have already heard about Brazil, Botswana, and Kazakhstan. Is there any more speakers?
No, after this, we can move into some question and answers, and then we can give the floor to Dr. Park to close the event.
Okay, sure. Okay, so we can go for the question hours. Right.
Microphone, please. Remember.
Any questions?
Alicia, you would like to take the floor?
No, your microphone was off. That's why I was just remind you. Switch
Okay.
on.
So, thank you very much, Dr. Jairajan.
Yes.
For your very smooth and excellent, facilitation. Thank you very much. Let me give you a few words in finalizing our Culture Masters webinar. Is first one. Actually, the reason why we pick up this topic, the urban, sustainable urban development. Actually, in Korea, we have a very serious issues in terms of population decline. Up to, we say, population cliff. So it's a really serious issue, and really is urban regeneration is one of a very key concerns in the the urban areas nearby even Seoul capital city, it's a Gyeonggi province. So out of various cities are suffering from, some decline of economic situation and population, accordingly, some quality of life. So actually, it was very interesting to see the sustainable urban development through the lens of intangible cultural heritage. It must be very adventurous, the trial for us. And thank you very much, all the participants. I gave you a very short period of time to prepare presentation, but nonetheless, you did, you made it to successful, presentation, and really appreciate Ikas. Always he's so, cooperative, Mr. Ebran Lutbil, director, and also Jayarajan from Falkland International Center. They're very supportive, and with actually we also haven't seen wonderful facilitation by Alicia Ikramov. Actually, for this one, actually our staff, Kunjan Josh and Ninu. Actually, Ninu is for folklore, but center, but he helped us a lot. Nas, IT staff, he was very active and very, I really thank them. But I think, our work does not end here. So a webinar is a part of continuous journey to elevate our precious heritage on the world stage. Culture Masters will keep working with you. So together we can make a lasting impact. So thank you, and I'll look forward to our next gathering. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Have a good day. And then the IAB directors,
Okay.
you are invited to the next meeting. I mean, from 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. But we will try to be shortened. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
See you
you.
again.
See you again.
You did a good job, Kunjan. 우리 다들 수고하셨습니다. 송 선생님도 오시고 오세비 선생님도 오시고 다 오셨네요.